君の手を離したくなかった俺だ。君のことを守りたかった俺だ。君に好きだと言いたかった俺だ。どうして何にもなろうとできなかったんだ。
On the 10th episode of the 2016 anime, Servamp, is the tragic love story of the vampire Lawless and Princess Ophelia. Servamp is about servant vampires making contracts with humans. Humans with contracts are called Eves, and together they fight in the war between the 7 deadly Servamps. The Servamp of Greed, Lawless, also known as Hyde, makes a deal with the well-renowned pianist Lick Jekyll and Todoroki. Strong and fond of Shakespeare's lines, he has a nasty habit of killing his Eves when he gets tired of them. But he wasn't this whimsical and ruthless hundreds of years ago. Lawless was once human before mysteriously passing away. Then a man who was known as the Count brought him back to life as a vampire. He thought of the Count, or the Creator, as a parent and as such, his family. When he stumbled upon a kingdom, he was immobilized and taken prisoner by its soldiers because he was a vampire. They made him transform into a hedgehog by tying him up, exposing him to sunlight, so they could learn more about his vampiric nature. In the balcony of the castle, he was discovered by a young Ophelia. Despite his attempts to turn her away, she persisted, gaining his trust and eventually becoming his Eve. She took great care of him, welcoming him into the castle in his hedgehog form, and playing around with him outside in his true form. Over the years, Lawless developed feelings for Ophelia. He remained by her side, watching over her growth, as someone who's been with her since she was a little girl. But everything changed when she enters an arranged marriage with another man, a prince, in order for her country to join hands with the other nation. Ophelia was born to a country at war with another country. As a princess, she sees this as her responsibility, and also an opportunity to achieve her dream of a peaceful nation. Lawless couldn't stop her and can only be devastated by her forced marriage. Everyone was happy, and peace was given to both countries as a result of this marriage. But it only lasted for a short period of time. Conflict still erupted between the countries. As it turns out, the marriage was just a ruse to gain their enemies' trust, only to secretly overthrow them. Lawless overhearing the rival nation planning to kill her, he cries out in desperation for Ophelia to join him on their escape. Hearing this, Ophelia explains that she now wants peace for both her own country and the other country. She resolves to make a sacrifice in order for the two countries to come to an agreement. Her overwhelming desire for peace, even at the cost of her life, goes to show that she is just the fitting Eve of greed. Lawless starts to realize that as a vampire, he could just murder anyone who wants her dead. But Ophelia believed in Lawless that he will never really do anything to take what she wants from her. He was too broken at this point. Ophelia, grateful for Lawless's reluctant understanding, she calls him as her one and only Romeo, hinting her reciprocation of his love for her. On her execution stage, she loudly declares that she is there of her own free will. She begs the spectators to remember her as a symbol of peace, and, for both countries, to continue to live in peace even after her death. Lawless respected her wish, bearing himself only as a witness to this horrifying scene. After she died, a statue was built in her memory, as both nations eventually achieved the peace she had wished for. Lawless remains to guard over her statue, keeping watch over it day and night. At about the same time, C3 summons and gives the Servamps the order to kill their creator. Lawless, having recently lost Ophelia, was terrified of losing the sole remaining member of his family. He opposes this motion but up to no avail. When Lawless returns to the monument, he stood frozen. He sees that the two nations Ophelia had given up her life to defend, were ultimately destroyed by a larger kingdom, in yet another war. He can only hug her broken statue and cry. In response to the tragedy that had befallen Ophelia and the Creator, Lawless starts to devalue human existence, twisting his perception of humanity, and supports his conviction that no one can hatch from their cocoon and become a butterfly. Question of the day: if you were put in Lawless's position, would you let Ophelia lead herself to her own death to make her happy? Or will you disregard her wishes to save her life, only to make her regret living? Thank you for watching, have a nice day.